Prize in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1837, Serenity Sunday. Woohoo! Yes, we do this podcast live daily at around this time. We do try to get on at 6 o'clock in the evening. Some days, like Serenity Sundays, we're a little late, and I've got bouncing spreadsheets. Oh, they'll stop that. So I'm your host, Helen Brahms, and we do this every single day. We've been doing it for 1,837 consecutive days. And guess what? Yesterday I was complaining. Was it yesterday? I was talking about my index cards. Look what I found today. This is all I have found. Just this little pile of different colored index cards. This is all I have been able to find. Yes, I haven't really been looking that much today. I thought, I'm probably driving myself nuts by looking consistently for, opening up every single box that I still have left to unpack to see if I can find these things. I thought, I am taking the day off looking. I am not going to look. And then when I came into the office this evening, I was over there, which I have searched many, 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 many times. And there was this open box that had no lid on it. And I'm looking at it going, those look like they could be index cards because that's all I could see in the box along with all the other stuff. So imagine this is the end of the box here that's open. I'm looking down on it and I can see this. This is all I can see. And then there's other stuff from here across the box. It was a box that was this wide. So it was this square. And I'm looking at it going, oh my God. Do you know how many times I have picked up that box and looked at it? And what was sitting in there? These index cards. Yes. So these are the 4x6s in different colors, which is fine. The index cards, they will work exactly what I need them for. At least I have different colors so I can kind of separate the ideas by color at this point. But I will tell you this, every box I have opened, what do I find in there? Packets of Post-it notes. I have so many packets of index cards that I can't find. I know I have oodles and oodles of Post-it notes that I've got it on my dining table out there in the other room there that I use as my mind mapping table. I have about 50 of these things sitting there. Not one index card. So after finding the inspiration of an open box and seeing them in there because I was looking for packets of the things, not loose ones, yeah. We're just not going to look anymore tonight. We are done looking for index cards. We are putting it on the back burner for now because sometimes that's the best way to find things. Put them on the back burner, walk away, do something else. Very parched today. Been drinking a lot of water. So we just had a nice relaxing day. We had a nice we didn't really have a lazy start. We went for our walk as usual. See if he would disagree with it. Are you disagreeing? No, you're just dreaming? Okay. Went for our walk this morning. We came back and had a lovely shower. Oh, it was so good. It was cold. It was lovely. In the summertime here for those that don't live in Arizona, in the summertime to get a cold shower is a luxury in some places because in some places when they built a development, they didn't bury the water supply pipes low enough to keep them cool in the summertime. So when it gets hot, like if it gets around, mid-afternoon, it gets around afternoon onwards, you got to turn the cold water on and you've only got hot water coming out. So it makes it very difficult to have a cold shower in the middle of the day or So if you can get a cold shower in the morning before the sun heats up the ground, you're doing awesome. So we got a cold shower and it was so good, so refreshing. And it just put me into that sort of like Zen-like relax mode. And I was sort of like, So we did some puzzles, we snoozled. For those who don't know what a snoozle is, it's a nap. You snooze while you nap. It's a snoozle. And then I thought, I had this hankering for ice cream, but I thought, I really don't want ice cream. So I was looking at recipes to make ice cream and I didn't have the ingredients. I thought, that means I got to go shopping. Yeah, no. I had this bright idea. I don't have an ice cream maker. I'm sure there's recipes out there that you don't need an ice cream maker in order to make ice cream. I see them all the time on TikTok. but most of them use cottage cheese. And I'm like, yes. Do you know there's like 1,001 different ways you can use cottage cheese? It's awesome. It's a very good. I've actually made bread with cottage cheese. It was very bland, but hey, it did the job of I was able to make a sandwich. It was actually pretty good. once I had all the ingredients in the sandwich and had made the sandwich with my 2 slices, it was really good. But yeah, you can make all sorts of things. And so, well, I don't have any cottage cheese in the house, which means I got to go to the grocery store. I really don't want to go to the grocery store. So I said to Zeffy, I said, you know what? We're going to go out. Now, a couple of miles down the road, we have a Sonic. Zeffy in the past is not like going to, we haven't been to Sonic in like eons because Zeffy doesn't like them that much. And she didn't like their fries. And so, like all the takeout places, I've got the app on the phone, so I can every now and again I thought, oh, let's go order some food. So I'll put the order into the shopping basket, but I won't actually order it. So it's just going through the process of ordering without actually ordering. And then I'm sort of like, then I go to press the order button. I'm like, I really don't want to go pick that up, and so I'll just delete the cart. Tell you, it works very well. Although this time, what Sonic have done, they've got very sneaky. Is that they drop these deals into the app every month that you can get to go and so you get to go and have these different deals. Things like, if you buy this sandwich, you can get a second one for free. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. It's a $6 burger. I get a second $6 burger for free. There's 2 meals. But you can't do it with a combo. If you do it with a combo, you can't. You actually have to purchase the sandwiches separately and then get your fries and then get your drinks and stuff. And so I'm sort of like, they've gotten wise to this one. We're making you spend more to get an extra sandwich. Well, we will fool them because I don't like ordering sodas. So give me my water and I'm fine. And so they also have a $1.99 menu as well. So we had a look at that, and I thought, I really could want some ice cream. But then they have these shakes, and from what I can recall in the past, I've kind of liked their shakes. So I ordered one of their shakes. But if you order the small size, it was $1.99. But their small size is not exactly small, but it's not a medium size. If you think of, which is the one that does the big ones? Carl's Jr. they've got weird sizes there. But most of the fast food places, you have a small size, and then you have a medium, and then you have a large. Well, Sonic's small size for their shakes is between a small soda and a medium soda in most other fast food places. So it's actually a pretty good size shake for $1.99. So I ordered one of those. I thought, there's my ice cream. And they had corn dogs, and I was sort of like, when did I last have I was just in like, I don't know what I'm going to eat mode. And I was like, when did I last have a corn dog? Let's get a couple of corn. So I got a couple of corn dogs, and one of their free things was a pretzel. It was a soft twisted pretzel or something, was one of the free you could get for free. So I thought, well, let's chuck that in because that's one of the deal things. And you can only do one deal at a time. You can't combine them. And then I ordered a side of fries to go with everything because they showed that they had crinkle cut fries. I love crinkle cut. I love fries, but give me crinkle cut fries any day of the week, and they have to be extra crispy. You cannot have droopy fries. You got droopy fries, they haven't been cooked long enough. And I'm like, there's nowhere to order extra crispy on the fries because I'm always ordering extra crispy. If I can order extra crispy, I order extra crispy. I like fries that are not droopy. And if they're crinkle cut, they have to be crunchy. There is just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have to be crunchy fries if they're crinkle cut. It's just a requirement. So we place the order and head on down to Sonic. Get there, and you pull into one of the stalls, and then you on the app you put in what store number you're sitting in, and then within a minute or two they brought out the food, which was awesome. And she says, "Is there anything else I can get for you?" I says, "Yeah." I said, "I read somewhere that you guys have like a puppy menu or something." She says, "Oh, a pup cup." I said, "Yes, please." And she says, "Absolutely." And so she says, "Let me go get that for you." And so she comes out. Zeffy's pup cup was almost the same size as my shake cup. I looked at this thing. It is full of whipped cream, and we're not talking the canned cream. We're looking at it, I would say it was almost like it was hand whipped cream. It was heavy cream that had been whipped, because you can tell that the canned cream when it comes out of there, it stays for a little bit, but then it starts to collapse as the air is released out of the can. out of the cream. This was not. This was heavy. I mean, she hands it to me, and I'm like, it's almost as heavy as my milkshake was. And then there was this brown thing. So I put some peanut butter on top, because I find with the peanut butter on top, she says, I find with peanut butter on top, all dogs like peanut butter, and if we put the peanut butter on top, then they're not good. They slow down when it comes to eating the cream. And I turned around and said, Zeffie doesn't like peanut butter. So I'm not sure she's going to eat this because she doesn't like peanut butter. And she's like, your dog doesn't like peanut butter? I said, there are some peanut butter things she has eaten over time, but if I put peanut butter on my finger or put it on a dog biscuit for her, she will not eat it. And she's like, really? I said, yes. So I went down the back window so she could see Zeffie, and I handed the cup to Zeffie, and Zeffie is like, has her nose about this far away from them, just like sniffing, and then her head just starts going back, further back from the cup. It was hilarious. And in my car, I keep a full utensil set. And it's got chopsticks in there. It's got the metal straws in there. It's got knife, fork, spoon. And so I pulled out one of the chopsticks and mixed the peanut butter. I thought, well, maybe if I mix it in there. And that's when I realized that this is real whipping cream. It's not the canned stuff that's in this thing. It is real whipping cream. Actually, might have actually been soft freeze ice cream. I'm not sure. But I whipped this thing up. So I whipped it all up and put it back there. Still wouldn't touch it. And I'm like, okay. Well, I had some of her dog biscuits. I traveled with some dog biscuits in the car for her. So I put a couple of those in there, and I figured I'm just going to let it sit up here until we get home. And then, because I also had some dog food sprinkle stuff that you could put on top of their food as a treat. And so I thought, well, maybe I should have put the biscuits in after I put the sprinkles on. But too late, they're already in there. So we get home. I doctor this thing up. I put the sprinkle things on there. I'm mixing this cream up with the peanut butter that's already in there, plus the dog biscuits and the sprinkles on top. We're just mixing all this thing up, and she eats about half of it. And I obviously didn't do a very good job of making. Oh no, because when I got to the bottom, there was one of the dog biscuits was sitting there, and she had taken one of the dog biscuits out and eaten that. But she was happy with her little. The treat. So I have to remember if we ever go to Sonic again. So if you want a good pup cup for the dogs, Sonic has like the best ones I've seen. So although some Dutch Brothers does rival them at times, because when we go to Dutch Brothers, depending who's on, there's this young guy there. I think his name is Chris. I can't remember 100% on that. And he'll be standing, and he's very much a chatterbox, and he stands there and starts talking with you. And while he's making the pup cup, and Zeffie ends up with anywhere from 4 to 8 dog biscuits instead of just the one in her pup cup. And it's full of cream, but by the time we get home, the cream is compacted down. It's the canned cream has compacted down, and so all these dog biscuits are left there. But what does Zeffie do? She licks all around the dog biscuits to get all the cream out, and then she goes back and eats the dog biscuits. Crazy dog, I tell you. But yeah, so she had fun with that this afternoon. And then we just and I had finished finished this really good documentary. It was 3 parts. Each part was 45 minutes. So there were 3 or 4 parts. And it was called Cowboy Cartel. And it was the story of how in Laredo, Texas, they took down this really bad drug cartel from Mexico. And how they went about doing it, and how the cartel was using quarter horse racing to launder all the money and everything. It was really, really interesting. And the number of people involved in that thing, whoa, and the number of agencies and the agents and the interagency cooperation they had going there. They had it was this young FBI guy that cottoned onto it at first. He's the one that sort of brought it to the bosses and go with some suspicion that he had about this particular horse owner who suddenly seemed to get horses transferred into his name just before a race, and then that horse would end up winning. And then they were telling us how they got how they made sure his horse won, and it wasn't drugging the horse at all. It was to do with the horse's hair. Now I'm going to see if I can remember this correctly. When they're in the gates, in the stalls, in the gates there's a gatekeeper there with each horse, and their job is to hold the horse's head straight, because when the gates open, the horse will go straight ahead. And if the horse's head is not straight, it's off to one side or the other, that's the direction the horse will go when it comes out of the gates. And those ones who do not have a straight head when the gates open never win the race. And I'm like thinking, okay, so you get this horse's head off center a couple of degrees and it's not going to win. I'm like, this is just nuts. And this is what was happening. These horses with long odds were winning because they had paid off some of these gatekeeper things, and these gatekeeper guys, the cartel had paid off these gatekeeper guys, and so they would pull the head's horse a little bit or be a little late in releasing the reins, and because its head wasn't pointing straight ahead, it wasn't going straight, it was going to the side, and the jockey then had to get it back on track again, and it had lost ground at that point and had lost the race. It was very interesting and very detailed and very involved about how they did this whole investigation. They had the DEA involved. They had to bring a prosecutor in. The prosecutor they brought in was a former Marine. They bring in the IRS. The IRS comes in. Actually, when you hear of people working for the IRS, you normally, I don't know about you, but you can typecast them a little bit in how they look. This guy looked nothing like an IRS. He had hair he had this long hair. He drove this convertible, very laid back guy. And I thought, put him in leathers and a helmet on, he'd make a great biker. He had that biker look about him. And he was the most laid back guy ever, and telling his story and how they came across information and how they could find the information. And I mean, the agencies they brought in on this thing was just unbelievable, and how they all cooperated and how they found their little bits, or this team found this and passed it to this team who then did the deep dive into it, and then this team took over, and it was really, really cool. So if you ever want to see, it just fascinated me. It really did, about how the drug cartel from Mexico was using quarter horse racing to launder all this money through. And like, they were finding checks that had been written out and never cashed. But these people had been paid the money. And so these checks were like big red flags and help them with their case and everything else. And then how they managed to round people up and the rest of, and these guys had all been sentenced to 20 years in prison. And one of them actually didn't get 20 years. He got 25 because he had tried to bribe a federal judge to get a lesser sentence. Like us. So he ends up, so he's in now for 25 years instead of the 20 he originally did. But there were just moments that you just crack up laughing, because it was just so unbelievable that it was funny. But it was also very serious as well, and especially when they're talking about they did have a Homeland Security agent that was killed during that time, and he was in a diplomatic vehicle. It was had all the diplomatic plates and everything on it, and he was on this thing, and he was their vehicle was not supposed to be touched by anybody. It was a big unwritten rule that if you see any diplomatic vehicles coming through, you just let them through. But no, this cartel went after this diplomatic vehicle, and unfortunately this agent lost his life. And that was the real downer of this whole thing, was this agent had lost his life. But I think, if I remember correctly, he was the only law enforcement agent that died through that whole thing. And they said even the takedowns, they went in ready for guns blazing, and all the takedowns were all quiet, all done very quietly, very calmly, there was no gun. They didn't get into any gunfights or anything. Oh, that is awesome. That's like the best outcome you could get for a takedown. So that was really cool. So I finished that. So I watched that yesterday. I had seen the first episode. So I watched the last, was it 2 or 3 we watched last night? They're like 40-minute episodes. It's either 3 or 4 of them. But it was really, really fascinating about how they discovered it, and you're taken along their investigation path about how they did all the investigation, when they brought the different agencies in on board, when they had to bring the prosecutor in on board, when they brought the IRS in, when they brought Homeland Security in, when they brought the DEA in, when they brought in the other agencies. They had this meeting and stuff, and what point were they having to bring these people in, and then you learned more about their investigation and everything. It was just really, really fascinating. Absolutely loved it. And then this afternoon, watched a British series called The Change, about this woman who turns 50 and goes into menopause, and how she leaves her family and goes off on this quest to find this time capsule she left in this tree in this little town in, I think, northern England, somewhere in England, in the middle of nowhere, where they celebrate the eel. I've tried eel once, never again. and just meeting the people in the town. And it was a very quick series. It was 6 episodes. Each one was like 20 to 25 minutes long. So it was like a half-hour comedy show. It was quite funny. And that was kind of, but it was only the 6 episodes, like season 1, and that came out last year. So I'm not sure if there's a second season to it or not. But there was this woman just rediscovering herself. She left her husband at home, she left her kids at home, and she took off on her motorcycle to go find herself and just spend time with herself and deal with the changes that were coming through menopause. And it was it was a very entertaining afternoon on that. So I had a nice Serenity Sunday. And then, of course, I come in the office and I'm over there doing something, and I find that box that had these in it. It's an open box. So I've decided I'm not going to hunt for any more index cards. I'm just going to use these ones up. And then as I keep unpacking boxes to get the books out, to get my bookcase in there, if I find them, I find them that way. It's not going to be an intentional search. It's going to be a on the back burner search. Those, when you get those ideas and things and the answer's there and you can't quite, so you push it to the back burner for a while and let it simmer back there. And then all of a sudden you wake up at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever and go, I got it. That's why you always keep pen and paper next to the bed. Then you can turn the light on and you can write it down and you can put it there. And it's now out of the head. It's into the pensive bowl. Dumbledore takes the thought out, or the memory out of his head, and puts it into the pensive bowl. So that's what you do with pen and paper. You wake up, you write it down, you put it back on the side table, and you go to sleep. Because once the thought's out, it's on pen and paper. Once pen and paper are involved, that thought's out of the head, and it makes room for new stuff to come in. So with that, we are out of here. We're going to head out and go for a walk. How was your Sunday? Was it a nice, relaxing Serenity Sunday? And I just realized I haven't made a post today in the Love to Read group. What is our topic today? Oh, Story Sunday. Oh, Story Sunday. Do you have a favorite short story? That will be a good one. What is your favorite short story? I'm going to make a post and put it into the Love to Read Facebook group that you can come join. That's just up here. Just scan this QR code and come join us in the group over there. And we're going to go put a post in there about, what's your favorite short story? Do you have a favorite short story? Have you written a short story? There's another one. I've got short stories up the wazoo. Might actually put more together in a book. Oh, no, there's a thought. Do I have enough to make a book? No, but I can write some more to make a book. I'm out of here. I got to go write. Have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. And we have a guest tomorrow. Yes, we have a guest tomorrow. So come join us at 6 p.m. Pacific and find out who we're going to be chatting.